It is the most extraordinary sight when the seeds from a flowering plant swirl in a stream of endless wonder, carried by the ferocious winds that typify the British Isles. But the question we continue to ask ourselves is where these magnificent specimens end up. Take, for example, the sycamore seed. Well, one would bizarrely expect such a seed to fall at the foot of the parent plant. They travel far and wide on a helicopter journey that stretches across the length and breadth of the school field. These glorious propeller-like wonders of nature will finally land, and then quite rightly, there is no escape. I'll try and zoom in on it. Taking advantage of the right conditions, germination is one of the most stunning examples of nature's architecture. But how does it happen? As the small seed starts to crack and the root starts to grow, the most surprising thing occurs. The seed starts to sprout. In some cases, this process lasts a few mere days, but exactly what goes on continues to beguile us. As the plant gets taller, leaves sprout from the stem, and the flower grows. Stand and admire the beautiful flowers in the garden, we too often fail to recognise that belying their beauty is the need to produce a dust-like powder called pollen. These tiny granules of yellow have proven to be the Achilles heel of the insect world, casting what some of us can only describe as an incorrigible spell. This positive attraction often results with the most fatal of consequences, as the insects drown in the flower's sweet nectar. Pollination can only be described as one of nature's glorious accidents, which has caused many of us to wonder whether this process is a fake. A traffic of bees unknowingly transport pollen as they travel from one flower to another. But why should this be? Bees, bugs and other insects find themselves drenched in the sticky yellow substance called pollen, driven to complete distraction by the flower's nectar. As insects leave one flower in search of another, the pollen is unwittingly transferred from flower to flower. But insects are not the only carriers of pollen. Other pollinators include birds, wind and even water.
One and start.
Not surprisingly, insects have an invaluable role to play in the fertilization process of the plant life cycle. In spite of what we might believe, all plants have a male and female part. Flowers have only one female part, which is called the carpel. It is relatively strong and protects the petals around it. At the base of the carpel lay the eggs, so small that they can hardly be seen by the naked eye. The male parts of the flower are correctly known as the stamens. Unlike the carpel, stamens are relatively flimsy, but what they lack in strength they make up for in sheer numbers. Stamens have tips called anthers, which are covered in the yellow powder that we most commonly recognise as pollen. As bees crawl around inside of the flower, Drawn to its glorious nectar, the pollen is transferred from the sticky stamen to the carpel, where the wondrous process of fertilization takes place. At this point in time, the seed is formed. As the seed is formed, the flower needs to scatter these on the ground so that another flower can grow and the plant life cycle can continue.